And he also wants from that, he then goes into the understanding of the words of understanding. That's an interesting sort of phrase. He wants you to have understanding of the words of understanding. So the word brings understanding. Problem is, we don't understand the word. And that's, again, part of why I have made the argument in the case over and over again for there being Torah teachers. Because the teachers are there and anointed and appointed to help you with understanding the words of understanding. This book, we call this the Bible, the scriptures, whatever. What was the general education and occupation of the audience initially? Farmers, shepherds. These are not university students with graduate degrees, Bible scholars, linguistic experts. They were carpenters. They did brickwork, right? And so let's just bear in mind that this was not supposed to take, you know, an incredible education in a seminary or yeshiva to understand it. Because I was listening to something the other day, and again, the relentless attack on needing any kind of teacher is still out there. Oh, you don't need anybody. You don't need a man. You don't need this. The Ruach is going to teach you everything. Then why are we all on different pages with these things? Aren't we all filled with the Ruach? We'd like to think so, right? Well, if I got a group of people, and let's say I knew that they were all filled with the Ruach, I promise you they're not going to all agree on everything. Because it doesn't work that way. This is the beginning of the battle of the book. When I mean the book of Proverbs. Actually, it's the battle of the whole book. The story of Proverbs is going to be, from this point forward, mostly about wisdom, righteousness, discipline, understanding, knowledge, etc., and those that would try to lead you in the wrong direction. This enticing. You need to know context. What phrases does this particular writer use? What does he mean when he uses them? Like, for example, we talk about this with Shaul. When Paul talks about circumcision and uncircumcision, he's not talking about circumcision. I know that doesn't make any sense. The people out there that don't like there being teachers, I agree with one thing. The one thing I agree with them is that you shouldn't just be sitting back like a baby bird with your mouth open. Okay? You should be reading the word yourself. You should be studying the word yourself. And then you should be verifying what the teacher says. And then when you run into things, if you have found a teacher that you believe should be your teacher, then go to your teacher with your questions. Information without relationship is a waste of time. It's foolishness. But what makes it really foolishness is that you've convinced yourself that you have a relationship when all you have is information. That's where you're being foolish. You think information, by the way, it says, Paul talked about how knowledge puffs up. No, information puffs up. That's what he's talking about there. Because sometimes when we talk about knowledge, we mean information. Sometimes we mean relationship. Information puffs up. But here's the metaphor for it right here. Yahweh's saying the same exact thing. He says, I talked to you, and I gave you this, and I stretched out my hand to you, and you spurned my counsel, and you didn't listen, and all this stuff happened. I said, okay, fine, and then you're going to call on me now. Oh, now you want me, okay? Now that it's all gone terrible. Well, he does want us to go to him when it's all gone bad, but he wants us to go ready now to listen. Oh, no, we just want him to fix the problem and then go on doing what we were doing. That's the problem. As a parent, sometimes you want to do that with your children. Like, well, you're not listening to me, so go do whatever you want and let's see how that goes. How's that working for you? Sometimes the ministry feels that way with some of you guys. I've had to say at least once or twice over a couple of years with the same few people where they call and they call and they call, and I know they're not listening. And I have to ask them at some point, why do you keep calling? And they're like, what do you mean? I said, I gave you this counsel, this counsel. Did you do any of that? No. Then why are you calling? Are you just taking a poll? You just want a survey? I still would have to say, and I think Robert would agree, and any of those that help with counseling, that the biggest problem in the body still is fear. Not fear of Yahweh, I mean just being afraid. Just afraid. People are nervous, afraid. They have anxiety, which is a fear-based emotional state. They're not at ease. They're in dread. He said, but if you would listen to me, you will dwell safely and be at ease from the dread.